Good morning and welcome to Barbara's Bulletin. I'm your host Barbara. Today we're starting with a significant development in the Middle East as the Kurdish rebel group PKK has announced it is withdrawing its forces from Turkey. This move is part of a disarmament process aimed at ending decades of conflict between the PKK and the Turkish government. To give you some context, the PKK, or Kurdistan Workers' Party, has been waging an insurgency against Turkey since the 1980s, with the goal of establishing autonomy for the Kurdish minority in southeastern Turkey. The conflict has resulted in the loss of thousands of lives and has had a profound impact on the region. According to statements from the PKK, the withdrawal of its forces is intended to pave the way for a transition into democratic politics. The group is calling on the Turkish government to establish laws that will allow it to participate in the democratic process and defend the rights of Kurds in Turkey through peaceful means. The Turkish government has welcomed the move, with spokesman Ömer Çelik saying that it is a concrete outcome of the government's aim to make Turkey terror-free. A parliamentary commission has been established to oversee the implementation of legal reforms aimed at advancing the peace process. It's worth noting that this is not the first attempt at a peaceful resolution between the Turkish government and the PKK. Previous efforts have ended in failure, most recently in 2015. However, the fact that the PKK has announced its withdrawal from Turkey and is seeking to transition into democratic politics is a significant development that could potentially mark a new chapter in the conflict. As we move forward, it will be important to monitor the situation closely and see how the Turkish government responds to the PKK's demands. The international community, including the United States and the European Union, will also be watching with interest, as the resolution of this conflict could have broader implications for regional stability. We'll continue to follow this story and provide updates as more information becomes available. For now, it's a tentative step towards peace in a region that has known too much violence and bloodshed. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. I'm your host Barbara. We're glad you're joining us again as we continue to bring you the latest news and stories from around the world. In this segment, we'll be taking a closer look at some of the developments coming out of France. First, let's start with the story of former French President Nicolas Sarkozy, who has begun serving his 5-year prison sentence after being convicted of conspiring to raise campaign funds from Libya. This is a significant fall from grace for a man who once led the country between 2007 and 2012. According to reports, Sarkozy will have 2 police officers stationed in nearby cells to ensure his safety while he's in prison. We'll also be looking at the reaction of one of the victims of the UTA Flight 772 bombing, who has spoken out about testifying against Sarkozy. The victim expressed feelings of abandonment and frustration with the handling of the case. This story serves as a reminder of the complex web of international relations and the consequences of actions taken by those in power. On a more uplifting note, we have a heartwarming story from Notre Dame Cathedral, where a rare wedding was held for one of the craftsmen who helped rebuild the historic landmark after the devastating fire. Martin Lawrence, along with his partner Jade, exchanged vows inside the cathedral, surrounded by fellow artisans and hundreds of guests. This is a beautiful example of the human spirit and the power of love and community. Additionally, we're following reports of a recent jewelry heist at the Louvre Museum, where 2 suspects have been arrested in connection with the crime. The investigation is ongoing, but experts believe that the stolen jewels may still be intact and hidden somewhere in France. As we continue to monitor these stories and more, it's essential to remember the importance of fairness, balance, and accuracy in reporting. We strive to bring you the most up-to-date information without taking a stance or promoting any particular agenda. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Barbara's Bulletin. Good evening, and welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on the significant events that have unfolded across Europe. From the streets of Spain to the halls of power in Ireland, it's been a week marked by protests, elections, and a continued focus on the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Let's begin with the floods that devastated Valencia, Spain, exactly 1 year ago. The tragedy resulted in the loss of 209 lives, leaving an indelible mark on the community. On Saturday, tens of thousands of people gathered to commemorate the anniversary, demanding accountability and calling for the resignation of regional leader Carlos Mazón over what they perceive as a slow response to the disaster. It's a poignant reminder of the importance of effective governance and preparedness in the face of natural disasters. Meanwhile, in Ireland, history was made with the election of left-wing independent Catherine Connolly as the country's new president. Her landslide victory, secured with the backing of left-leaning parties including Sinn Féin, signals a significant shift in the political landscape. As president-elect, Connolly emphasized her commitment to diversity and neutrality. It will be interesting to see how her presidency shapes Ireland's stance on both domestic and international issues. In Serbia, students took a bold stand by blocking access to a high school in protest against the government. This act of defiance reflects growing discontent among young people with the current state of affairs, mirroring similar sentiments echoed across various parts of Europe. It's a powerful reminder that the voices of future generations cannot be ignored and that their demands for change must be taken seriously. As we continue to follow the developments in Ukraine, meetings between international leaders and discussions on potential arms supplies underscore the complexity and depth of the conflict. The European Union's consideration of a loan plan using frozen Russian assets also highlights the economic dimensions of the crisis and the creative solutions being explored to support those affected. In conclusion, this week has shown us that even amidst challenges and conflicts, there are moments of hope and change. Whether through the ballot box or through protests, the people of Europe are making their voices heard. As we navigate these complex times, it's crucial that we remain informed, empathetic, and engaged with the world around us. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.